Hello, people. Recently, we started Solids with Tobias, and it has been an emotional and fun milestone. And I'm sharing my story to support, encourage, and reassure some other parents that may be watching me. I will share how I knew he was ready, what foods we started with, what worked, and what I have been learning. How I knew he was ready. I waited until he was sitting without support. But before that, way before, since he was like 4 months old, he was trying to grab our food. So we were like, He could hold objects. So I was like, hmm. And the doctor said that after 4 months old, I could start solids with him. But I really wanted to wait until he could sit by himself, especially for his safety, in my opinion. As you can see, it's a personal choice, and I knew that only with the milk I still breastfeed him. So he was growing, he was being fed, and I didn't feel the need to start when he was 4 months old. So we waited up until he could sit, which was at the end of his 5th month. And then when he turned 6, we then started solids. So let's talk about our first foods. Dun, 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 dun. The very first meal he had was a broth. I'm following the same routine my great friend Nanda is doing with her child. So it's basically, hello. Someone was napping and I probably woke him up. So it's basically broth first, no fruits, no veggies, just broth. Hi. I chose this diet because my friend was doing it, and I had so many books, and I have searched for so many different sources, and everyone said something, right? They start with the allergenics. They start with this one, with that one, with this one, that one, and I got so confused. And this one, it tells you what you should give to your child in the morning, in the afternoon, as a snack, at night. And I like this structure, so this is why I chose this one. And basically, like, my friend was feeding her child with this diet, so I thought, why not? Why not follow the same thing that I see it is working for someone so close to me? Right? Right? Yes. My babe's reaction was the best one because this little guy here, he was being funny. He was like making a funny face, like, what's this? Like, confused mostly. And he was like, I don't know if I like it or not. But his it was just the broth, the very first one. He kept like taking this spoon and also this spoon because he was breastfed the whole time. So spoon wasn't in his vocabulary or in his mouth yet. So it was funny and interesting observing how he reacted to that. So he's still learning and adapting. Now that I'm recording this video, we are almost a month mhm, into the solids, and we are still like adapting with the spoons and stuff like that. As I said before about method, I had so many ways in front of me to the way that I really got confused and I was like, what should I do? Right? So, following this method, I'm going from the broth to purees right now to introducing a little bit of solids here and there. And I would do like a mix of the sensory and texture one when the time comes, when something more consistent comes to his way. Because for now, really, it's basically purees. So I'm feeding him. Yeah, he had some avocado actually, in a puree with milk, breast milk, and it was interesting. And he had this avocado, and later on, I cut like the avocados in small piece and let him play with it. It was a mess, but it was worth it. And he was like grabbing and put on his mouth some of the avocado, so he was feeling the texture. Yes. So we are not having some fruits now because fruits are so sweet. So we want first to introduce some veggies, some salty things, even though it doesn't have salt, right? But not sweet. So probably with fruits, I will be more like go with the flow and probably just do the cuts and let him explore. But for now, with broths, puree, kind of liquidish things, I prefer me feeding him. But I always show him and tell him what he's eating, right? So today it's like eggs with the broth and with blah, 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 blah. And this is what I'm doing right now. Something that has been working about the purees and about the food prep in general is because, for example, the broth I was telling a friend today, it takes 3 hours to prepare. But like the amount I have from it, right? It's a huge amount. So I freeze in some glass containers I bought only for Tobias. So it's incredible because I can just grab the food that's frozen and feed him when the time comes, right? And sometimes I look on his diet plan and I see, oh, he will have like squash with carrots with I don't know what. So I prepare like not in a small amount because like the blender sometimes doesn't blend the tiny amount they eat, but I blend like a portion, like a great portion that I can freeze it. And feeding him, I give him 2 spoons and 2 teaspoons actually. And when he wants more, I give him more. And I always offer like the food first and then I feed him with milk, right? And another thing is that not all has been like flowers. I'm facing some challenges as well. The first one is that some foods are like more challenging for me to give to him because he doesn't accept it good. The time prep sometimes is challenging because yeah, we don't have much time as mom, right? And I must tell you, the cleaning, thank God I have the Tinical. It helps me a lot because vacuums and mops at the same time, like solid, but still, like sometimes when he puts his hands on the puree, it flies away, and I'm like, oh no, oh no, 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 no. But let's talk about setups, how I feed him. I try to create a routine of sitting at the table because this is how my husband and I, we eat. We love eating at the table. At least one meal we try to eat together. Usually is dinner, right? On the weekends, we eat more often together, but on the weekdays, we eat more mainly the dinner at the table. So we want to teach this to Tobias. We say grace before eating and things like that. We want him to learn how our family works. We want Tobias to be added to our family, not the family like being around him. So he's included and welcome to be and do what we usually do. So we sit at the table, so we have his high chair. I will create a separate video. So this one is long enough, but I will create another one sharing like every tool and what I use and how I use. So maybe if you want, you can do the same thing if you think it makes sense for you. But yeah, we have the high chair for him. And we have his plates, his cutlery, like he has a spoon, no, 3 spoons actually. And he has a fork, he never used that. And he has like 2 cups for himself. And I think plate, a bowl, yeah, probably more stuff. I mentioned before the glass containers. And he has lots of bibs as well. But I must tell you that there are days that, his cutlery are just dirty. And I use the regular one. I use like a glass plate that we have at home, or I give him the spoon or teaspoons in this case, that we use for ourselves. I'm very chill. I'm, going with the flow. And even for cups as well. He has his cups and I like it, but sometimes I just get a glass cup that we have at home and give to him, of course, attended. Like I hold the cup and I just want him to drink or to eat what is in this situation. I try to make the meal as fun and safe as possible. I try to make it fun because I make face, I try to smile when I'm feeding him, I try to taste the food. I actually taste the food before giving to him, right? For me, it doesn't have any salt, it doesn't have any sugar, so I miss the salt and sugar. But yeah, I try to make a happy face while eating and tasting it and saying, yummy, it is good. I think you're gonna like it. Try it, right? And safe, well, I highly recommend every single parent to have a first aid course. Nowadays, we can even take a course like on YouTube or online. Some free courses are available. But it's good to know what to do if they gag, or where or when calling people if you need some help. People, I mean 911 or, emergencies. That God forbid it happens, but we have to be aware and alert, and we have to be safe, right? So paying attention on everything. And now that we are starting solids, right? Every time I give him a food that I know that may give some allergy, everything, right, can be. I try to feed him. He's wearing a bib, so I'm not seeing, I'm just observing he's breathing well. I try to observe his body later on after I give him the food. But first of all, is he breathing well? Is he alive? But I try to do it like in a way that he doesn't sense. And I'm not in fear when I'm checking him. I'm just alert and aware. But it's important for us to not to be like afraid, because I think they can sense it and they can be afraid as well, probably, of eating, and it can be like a problem in the future or not. But like, just saying, try to be chill but aware, alert at the same time. So this is what I'm doing here. And about learning moments, let me tell you some learning moments. I've learned about some portions. Before, I didn't have any clue about food introductions, right? So starting solids. And it was like, what should I do? How should I feed him? How much, the amount. But now I'm glad when he eats like 2 spoons of a new food that I'm just giving to him for the very first time. Someone wants to be held here. I'm glad when he eats just like a spoon or 2, because he's just trying the food for the first time. I know he loves the broth mixed with some broccoli. It's his favorite for now. And the other day, I was just giving him 2 spoons, and then he said, more, not using his words, I wish, but no. But he was like acting like he wanted more, and I kept giving him more and more and more and more, up until a way that I can see on the glass container we have, right? Because it shows the amount. He drank like 20 mLs, which is a lot for someone trying the food for the very first time, in my opinion. So I was like, yeah, I'm glad you ate this much. And next time he had the same meal, because we are trying for at least 3 days the same meal. And it was success. So he likes broccoli in a broth or mixed, blended. And yeah, I'm learning about this portion and measurement size. And I'm happy when he eats 2 teaspoons of the same food, because I know it's new for him. And I can kind of feel how it's going, because later on he will be fed by me. Okay, so some words of encouragement before I head out, and I'm sure you have to go as well and do something, because we are always busy. First thing I want to tell you is that do not stress if they eat only 1 spoon or 2. Remember, they are trying. They only had milk up until now. Formula, breast milk. They were just like tasting the same thing, and now we are introducing like new particles to his life, right? New tastes, new flavors, and yeah, it may be confusing. So victory if they eat 1 teaspoon, 2 teaspoons, or even more. But aim slow when you're starting, and then you can improve and increase in the future. Second thing, mess is normal. So get used to this. Right now I have laundry to fold. I have my dish to put in the dishwasher. House is a mess, and I'm here recording to you while I'm with him, kind of observing him, because we have to change diaper and feed him. It's snack time right now. And this and that and this, But your life will be messy, and you'll see mess here and there in your house and with the food. So just relax. It's just a season. They will grow, and they grow so fast. Now he's 6 months, almost 7 months actually. And he was born the other day, so time flies. Soon he will be just running and eating and preparing a meal for me. Imagine. And we have to remember as well that every baby is different and every timeline for this baby will be different. So for Tobias, he doesn't eat, like he cannot chew and eat solid food, right? But probably another baby his age can, and that's okay, right? Every person is different. The way he is and his reactions are totally different from other babies. So go with the flow. And some parents, they will start with allergenic foods, and that's okay. But if it makes sense for you, you do it. If it doesn't, don't do it because someone is doing. I told you that I was doing this plan because my friend was doing, but it made sense for me. This is the main